Hey, so this video is actually a response to a question I had from username dritta. Uh, they were asking about speech therapy, and this had actually come up in a couple comments just on videos and stuff about if I had taken speech therapy and if it helped at all. I did. I was in speech therapy for almost 3 years, I think, 2.5 maybe. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but I was homeschooled through 8th grade. I didn't go to public school until high school. So, I mean, talking in front of people hadn't really been much of an issue before that. I ended up in speech therapy sometime during the middle of freshman year, and the guy I had, honestly, I really didn't like him at the time. He said from the start that because I'm in high school and still have a stutter, there's a good chance that it probably isn't really going to go away ever. Was kind of mad at him and didn't like him because he was, I mean, he's a speech therapist, he's supposed to help me. Did a lot of exercises, or he was talking about, I think he was saying that the goal was like less stress, easier speaking, if you know what that, if you get what that means. But we did a lot of exercises, like he drew this picture of, like, you know, taking a breath, like where you inhale and then just after you begin to exhale to start the word, like not on the exhale, because something about like you need to get some air going out, so you stick the word in there and do it on the exhale. Talking about light contact, like saying Marissa, like just barely touching your lips together for things. We might have done some reading, but I don't think it was a big focus. I really don't remember a lot, like day-to-day stuff. I don't remember a whole lot of what exactly we did in there. I just remember it was really awkward. He actually had a stutter. He still stuttered. And I remember though, I mean, he made eye contact when he stuttered. Like, he didn't break eye contact. He was, I mean, he seemed like a fairly confident person. It didn't really seem to be helping anything. Like, I just dreaded it. I didn't enjoy it. I mean, I felt I was embarrassed. And it was just one more thing to get homework from. Like, he'd have me go find stuff to, I don't know, to read or things. I don't remember exactly. Like, taking sentences apart to find out how I would say them. And anyway, the next year, sophomore year, I ended up in speech therapy with a different person. I think he left. It was a woman this time. And, well, it was actually two. It was her, the speech therapist, and she had an assistant who was always in there. And, like, once or twice the actual speech therapist wasn't there, and the assistant was doing it. And I still didn't. Yeah, this story isn't very encouraging. I never liked speech therapy. I hated it. But it was more just like the way that I felt they felt about me wasn't that I didn't like it. Like, when the speech therapist was gone and the assistant was helping me, I felt like just the way she was treating me. She was having all these little flashcards and having me read them and, like, talking about pictures, and I just felt like she thought I was special or something. Like, I wasn't. Yeah, and I just felt like, yeah, I just didn't like it. Again, I dreaded it, and it really didn't seem to be helping that much. Over the summer, I tried to get out of it. Like, I called, which is a very, like, you know that I have to be serious about it if I'm making a phone call, because I hate making phone calls. But I got on the phone and called, right, because I was just not going to go back. Like, I thought I had to kind of, like, re-sign up to get back into speech therapy. But then between sophomore and junior year, I got a phone call from her asking, or just saying, like, when our first appointment would be, or asking when our first appointment would work. And I remember I, like, broke down because I had been counting on not going back, and now I found out that they're expecting me to come back. And so, yeah, I called her back and was like, I actually don't want to do this anymore. I just don't feel like it's not really helping. This is not really something I'm interested in anymore. And she told me, well, I found out that I was apparently in the system now, like the disability system at the school. Like, I had to go take a test once like, they pulled me out of class, not the speech therapy people, it was like the disability people. They pulled me out of a class once to go take some tests to figure out which career I would be best at. Like, I didn't know, like, it was for helping kids who didn't know what they want to do with their lives. Like, I was in their system, and I was having to follow their requirements now, and I couldn't just leave, apparently. So I had to go back to speech therapy, and I got back and made sure I wasn't insistent. Like, I didn't want to back down. I avoid confrontation at all costs. Like, I just don't know how to be confrontational, but it's kind of sad. But I was making sure I was insistent. Like, what we're doing isn't really working for me. It's not something that's helping. It's just adding more stress to my life. And I had to go through, like, they had a teacher meeting where they had to, like, some of my teachers didn't even know that I had a stutter. Like, it hadn't even been a problem. But they had to have a meeting where they had to get a couple of my teachers in there. Like, there was a big old conference with like 3 or 4 of my teachers around a table, and my mom and the speech therapists, and them asking, like, if they thought it was okay for me, like, if they thought I was still in need of speech therapy, and if it was okay for me to leave. And I just remember it was really embarrassing, but it was nice that teachers hadn't noticed, because they could say, well, I didn't even think it was a problem, so it seems like she's doing fine, kind of thing. So that was nice. But yeah, eventually I was able to get out sometime during junior year. And anyway, I realized the first guy that I had, that I really didn't like him at the time, because he'd talk about doing things like stuttering on purpose in front of people, and I thought this was ridiculous. Like, why on earth would you stutter on purpose in front of people? Like, that's stupid. But, I mean, I've, like, read more about it later, and I realized that I actually agree with him. Like, just stuff he said and stuff he was doing, I realized later that I agree with him. Now, I kind of wish I could find him and tell him, shoot him an email or something, but I don't remember his name. I mean, he was more about being more confident about it and being more open, and just realize that now. I'm kind of sad that I didn't think that way at the time. But anyway, so I'm afraid my experience with speech therapy it might not be a very encouraging story. I know some people have had better speech therapy experiences. Mine was not particularly enjoyable or positive. I mean, some things I think of now, like trying to make light contact, or, you know, breathing on the exhale, and sometimes it works, but I mean, it's really a confidence thing. Avoiding things like, it's hard, but yeah, I guess I took a few things away, and I think of them sometimes, but they don't always help. They usually don't help. But anyway, yeah, sorry, I guess, yeah, I would love to try speech therapy again. Like, honestly, I would. I'm not completely, like, you know, anti-speech therapy. I hate speech therapy. I realize I personally didn't have a very good experience. I just felt, not the first guy. The first guy was nice, but the women that I was with for a longer period of time, I just felt like they were kind of being condescending, that they just kind of thought I just had a mental problem or something, and I was just upset that they, like, wouldn't let me out of the system, that, like, I was just stuck in there now, and I'd been grouped in with everyone else and couldn't get out. But I've talked to disability services here, because I had one Spanish professor. I ended up dropping the class. I mean, it was for various reasons. It was just kind of, I was in too high of a level, but I had a Spanish professor who I talked to from the beginning, and was saying that I have a stutter, and it's really hard for me to speak Spanish out loud in a class setting, and she wasn't willing to work with me until I had gotten proof from disability services, and it's kind of a difficult process. Like, I had to go talk to my own doctor, which I'm still working on, because she's only available, like, during the week, and it's like 2 hours away, so I haven't been able to make it yet. But, like, I have to make an appointment with the doctor and get paperwork from her, and then through disability services I'll get, like, an official you know, disabled stamp or something, like an approval, so that if professors like want proof that I actually have a problem, then I'll have it. I mean, it's not something I want to, it's just something I want to have, so that if there are professors who aren't, I mean, other than that one particular professor, I mean, I've had really good experiences. Professors have been really nice and been willing to work with me, totally understanding. But I mean, I just want to anticipate, want to be prepared in anticipation of that if there is, I mean, if there is anyone who wants the actual paperwork, then I'll have it. But I've also heard like they have student counseling here, and I don't think they have exactly speech therapy per se, but they have, you know, like relaxation, stress kind of stuff that I might look into eventually. Yeah, I'm sorry if that wasn't a very encouraging story, but that's just my experience. So, also sorry if don't seem particularly peppy. I'm just really tired, and yeah, so I'm tired. Anyway, so thank you very much for watching and commenting, but yeah, it's totally not, I don't mind questions. I love questions. If anyone has any questions for me, please ask, and I'll try to answer them either in comments or in videos. So, thanks.